Hi, good afternoon. Can you hear me okay? You can tell me in the chat if you can. Okay. Super. Okay, so last night then, as I was saying in my post, I was at an event. So the company that I do my Qualiopi audits with, they do events maybe 3 or 4 times a year. Which is great because we get lots of information. It helps us keep up to date with the legal aspects and so on. And so what did we learn last night? Mainly we were talking about CPF and sous-traitance. Okay, so CPF, the hot topic at the moment is the idea of making people pay to use their CPF. Now, I know we've heard a lot of different things actually recently. At one point they were talking about making people pay 10%. More recently we've heard €100, regardless of the amount, which I mean probably would be better. Depending on how you look at it, maybe if someone's got a €1,000 budget, €100 and 10% are the same thing. But if someone's got a €4,000 budget, obviously €100 is better than paying 10%. So what did we learn last night then? They basically said that it's still under debate. So no decisions have been made. I did hear someone say a couple of days ago that the €100 decision had been made and it was going to be in place in July, but it's not true. So it's still under discussion. We don't even know what month it will be, if it will happen this year. So for the moment, we don't know. Do I think it'll have an impact for us as teachers or organismes de formation? I don't think so. I think there are ways that we can perhaps get around it. Maybe we can say to our clients, because of this €100 charge, we can offer you an extra 3 hours free, or we can offer for people to pay in installments if legally that's not possible. Bottom line is we just don't really know how it's going to go down at the moment. Someone else who was there last night at the event was Nathaniel Wright. So he is the president of Wall Street English. And he quite rightly said, why are we making people pay to use their CPF accounts? Why aren't we just sanctioning people that are abusing the system? So the government representatives are saying that they want people to pay the €100 or the 10%, whatever it's going to be, because there are 10% of people that are using the public funds that are starting their CPF trainings and then not doing the certification at the end, so they're not serious. So yeah, it's true. Why don't we just make people pay if it shows that they're not serious, that they're not going to their classes, or that they're not doing the certification at the end? So yeah, that's all we can say on that for the moment. We just basically don't know. Big subject as well then is sous-traitance. Okay, so it's a big subject if you are a freelancer, if you work for companies, or if you are Qualiopi-certified and you have your own clients and you outsource to freelancers. Okay, so it's an important subject for everybody. Okay, so the new laws that are coming into effect, well, actually the first thing is not really a new law. So if you don't already have one, you need to have an NDA, a numéro de déclaration d'activité. So it was already a legal requirement, but basically they've said that this year they're going to start doing control, making sure that everybody who is using the public funds, giving classes with CPF money has an NDA. So if you are a company, you're outsourcing to freelancers, it's your responsibility to make sure that the people working for you have an NDA. Okay. So you must have an NDA. You're going to have a contract. Okay. So any company that you work with needs to give you a contract. You need an ordre de mission for each student that you work with. Okay. So that's a legal requirement now. Any company that you work with also has to make sure that you have an attestation de vigilance to make sure that you're paying your contributions to URSSAF. Okay, so if you work for companies, then you can expect them to be asking you for this now if they haven't already. Okay, they'll be asking you for your attestation de vigilance. They'll be asking you for your NDA. NDA is actually quite simple. Okay, it's not really a heavy admin essentially to get the NDA. One thing you should be aware of if you are a teacher is when you do have your NDA each year, so you've got until the end of April each year to declare for the previous year. Okay, so if you get your NDA now, next year, start thinking about it maybe in the beginning of March. Before the end of April, you have to go on your account and you have to declare how much money you made teaching and how many hours you taught. Okay, so it's a good idea once you've got that done to keep track of your teaching hours and how much money you're billing and declaring. Okay. Another thing that is changing. Okay, so all sous-traitants, subcontractors will have to be Qualiopi-certified unless you're earning under 77,000 euros a year, which is the limit for auto-entrepreneur. Okay, so if you go over the limit, which is obviously unlikely if you're not getting your own direct clients, if you're not Qualiopi-certified, so if you're an entrepreneur, you're keeping that status, you're staying under the 77,000 limit, then you don't have to be Qualiopi-certified for the moment, okay? Unless, obviously, you want to get your direct clients and increase your earnings, which I always encourage. Okay, so also another thing that is illegal now is what they call in the sous-traitance en cascade. Okay, so this means that if you work with a company, they give you a student, it is illegal for you to then get somebody else to teach that student. Okay, if you're a company, it's your responsibility to make sure that any missions that you're giving out are being carried out by the person who's got the ordre de mission. Okay, so that's going to be obviously ensuring that you're doing your follow-ups, that you've got your feuille d'émargement and students are signing with the teacher that they're supposed to be with. Personally as well, to make sure that everything's going well, I usually give my students a call if I'm not the teacher halfway through their hours. If they've got 60 hours, when we get to 30 hours, I'll give them a call to organise a call to have a chat, make sure everything's going well. Okay, so that's another way that you can justify that you're respecting that law. Okay, so halfway through the training, I give them a call, I'm checking the signatures, so on and so forth. Okay. Something else that we learnt last night then is that companies can only outsource 80% of the training to a sous-traitant. Okay, so essentially 20% has to be done in-house or by somebody who is an employee. Okay, or if you're, for example, a freelancer who's got a Qualiopi certification, obviously that's not a problem for you because you're doing 100% of it anyway. Or if you're a small business, then obviously you'll be giving 80% out as the maximum to sous-traitant. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. So are there any questions? Give you a couple of seconds in the chat to see if you want to ask anything else. Okay, no questions on the live. So I'll put this on YouTube then. If you've got any questions about that, then feel free to put them in the comments and I'll answer them. Okay, thanks for joining.